So my name is Samuel Kumbula and I was born in Zimbabwe. I'm Zimbabwean. I'm studying physics at Kent State College. Zimbabwe is made up of 10 provinces and I'm from a province called Manicaland Province in a district called Chipinge District. It's a remote district and many people in Zimbabwe probably don't know where Chipinge is, although they've heard of it. So I come from Chipingo, which is close to the Mozambican border. So I'm from a polygamous family, and my father had 7 wives, and my mother was the 7th. We lived in huts that are made of poles and daga and thatching grass. Those are those are our houses, and we don't normally use the word huts, but technically they are huts.
My name is Sam Howard. I've grown up in Keene for the last 17 or 18 years. And earlier this year during the pandemic, I totally came down with quarantine blues. And my dad came up to me one day in September of 2020, and he asked me if I wanted to go on this gap year program for around 2 months the following February. I didn't even really think about it. I was just like, we'll be doing some hiking and stuff out west. Sounds fun. Certainly a lot better than what I'm doing here right now. And so I just in 15 minutes I made up my mind and I was like, yeah, sure, Dad, let's do it. My family and I drove out from Keene to Colorado. It took us 3 days. All of a sudden, boom, I'm just sitting out there right in the heart of the central ridge of the Rocky Mountains in February, about to say goodbye, not see anybody I know, not have contact with them with my phone or anything for 55 days it was.
I can say not very much about my father because I didn't know him for so long. I just knew him when he got sick and he passed away. And there was a lot going on with my mother because she was believed to be unfaithful to my father. She ended up being chased away from the family and she left me and my younger brothers, Joshua and Tanaka, to take care of ourselves. And we had to do gardening and some farming to make a living. And I also confided in my primary school teachers and they helped me to take care of myself and my younger brothers. So my mother left me when I was almost 12, I was 11, and she never came back to live with us again.
Didn't really need to mentally prepare because I had known about it, but at the same time it was pretty daunting. No heat or running water or electricity or anything. We ended up, all of us, getting minor frost nip in our toes, which is essentially one step before frostbite. So we were traveling most days with probably 40 to 50 pound backpacks on, and we were on these short little short and wide little cross-country skis.
And we didn't have food. Luckily in Zimbabwe when you have SADSA you don't die, you just get tired of monotonous things, but you never die.
So what is sadza, Sam?
Oh, so sadza is our staple food in Zimbabwe. It's simply a pasta. So it's something that we have every day.
So it's basically like a porridge or
Yes,
a mashed
yes.
potato
Yeah,
without corn.
Yeah, it's just,
So
it
all
has,
you guys had was sadza.
yeah, that's what we crave for. I mean, when you don't have enough, you just want sadza and you'll be fine.
Those 11 days we faced a ton of challenges, and that sort of shaped our mentality and expectations for the rest of the course, which was going to be in Utah in the desert. We were hiked out there. We were loving the warmth and the easier terrain and the less hostile environment. And we ended up finding out that we left probably 40% of our food back in Colorado, 8 hours away. We all sat down and figured out what we were going to do with 60% rations. There was not a lot we really could do besides reorganize our food into different days. So we were going to bed hungry every night, always worried about food, instilled a prevalent food anxiety with the whole crew for the rest of the trip. So anytime food brought out, we were calculating that to make sure we each got normal, or like each got uniform rations.
When I completed grade 7, the headmaster gave me advice to go to the nearest school and explain my situation again to the headmaster so that he could help me with my education. I was given a storage room. That's the only accommodation that I could get at the school, because the school is not a boarding school, it's a day school. So that was being polite of the headmaster to give me that storage room, in which I lived for 4 years. It was a book storage room that had shelves attached to the walls and just a space between the walls. So that's the space I used as my room, as my living room.
When you say room, you mean more like a closet.
Oh yeah, it's a closet. I mean.
Did you have as much room like there on the couch to sleep?
Oh no, not much room. I mean, I didn't
Just like a
care.
blanket.
Yeah, I didn't care. Most of the times I wasn't in there. I would be reading and I would just go there to sleep.
We started the last leg of our trip, which was 18 days in a much more deserted, sort of secluded part of the Utah desert, and ended up setting up our solo campsites. That's essentially 72 hours completely alone, staying in this one sort of like maybe 20 by 20 foot plot of land. Like you get a couple crackers, couple raisins, a couple peanuts, and the instructors will come and silently like refill your water bottle. You get a tent or like a tarp, a sleeping pad. This is my little home for the next probably 50 hours. That's it. No headlamp, no watch, no books, no anything. You're completely just like on your own, just with the thoughts in your head. Nothing to do. I've been sitting on this damn rock for fucking 48 hours now. I got 24 more to go. And I've got 2 crackers left that I'm about to eat. When the sun, you can't really see it, when the sun goes below that cliff, that's how I know it's dinner time. It was kind of transformative almost. The mental clarity I got out of it was incredible, and I can't even describe it honestly.
What was it like to land at Logan Airport?
I mean, I cannot explain the feeling, and I could not believe that that was very authentic. And there was a lot of happiness and some little discomfort, because I have a lot of friends who have not had this opportunity that I had to be here and studying here with smart people. And I just feel bad sometimes, because I have a lot of friends who are still suffering the Zimbabwean life. And for me, it's something that is a thing of the past. And so that's how sometimes I can realize how blessed I am.
So after those 3 days, I sort of just was like so thankful to be back with the group. And then we got to the hardest day of the whole course. We had to hike in the river the whole day in the canyon. We had to look out for flash floods. So if it was raining like 50 miles away, it would have been flooded in like a half hour. We couldn't get out, we just drowned. And we also had to like think about hypothermia, because the water is literally coming from these like gigantic white snow-capped mountains. You can see in the distance, it's all glacier melt. And then we have to start going in the water, and it's like super cold, like it's painful to walk in it. We were hiking all day in a river with canyon walls like 80 to 100 feet tall on either side, so there's no land.
My name is Marty Henham, and my friend Connie Littlefield. He's been doing volunteer work in Zimbabwe for many years. And I met with her for lunch last March, and she told me about Samuel, her kind of surrogate adopted son in Zimbabwe, who was very bright and desperately wanted to come to the United States to study, and had applied to some Ivy Leagues, and it didn't work out. And I said, well, why don't we see if Keene State College would be open to that possibility? I asked my husband if Sam could live with us, because Keene State said they could help with tuition, but not room and board. And so my husband and I said we'd be happy to have him. He landed in August 18th?
13th.
13th at Logan, and spent a week with Connie, and then came here right for orientation. and he's been living with us since, and we love having him.
Readjusting back into normal life, like immediately my parents picked me up 55 days later, and we drive to Denver. So we have access to like all sorts of food. Each bite I'm so thankful for, and I'm just like, I savor it, you know. I learned, like, you don't really think about eating like on a day-to-day basis, but we sort of came up with some of the like more mindful eating habits. Still to this day, honestly, I am so thankful for like any food or clean water, especially like this, it felt like a reward at the end of the day on course, and now I'm just like, dang, like I really didn't do anything to earn this besides just like pay for it. Warmth and comfort. I've never sort of lost like touch with like the gratitude I feel for those.
What were some of the biggest shocks for you?
Oh, yeah.
I know what I think were some of the biggest, but I'm curious what you think.
Oh, yeah. The first thing is the amount of food, probably, that is present in every household that I've been in. For example, here you have a lot of choices to make. Sometimes you forget, you put some food there because you have another choice to take. So it's crazy, and that doesn't happen in Zimbabwe, that you can even forget that you had some food that you were supposed to eat and you didn't. So that's something amazing to me.
I learned a lot while I was on course. I learned different mindsets and ways to push through challenges, because I can say like, oh, this is not as bad as being stuck in the Rocky Mountains for 11 days and having my toes about to fall off. I'm so much more grateful for not having to deal with those things, but I'm also super grateful that I did deal with those things, sort of did my time. So now, like day-to-day life here is easier, and I'm able to sort of squeeze more out of it and be less worried about the sort of insignificant things that won't matter tomorrow.
When you're poor and everybody around you is poor, you don't feel, you can't have a measure of how poor you are or how needy you are. But when you are poor and you live around people who are affluent and have everything, then you can actually understand how poor you are. But when you are all of the same, in the same circumstances, and you have the same things, generally, you are appreciative of what we have. For example, when I was in Zimbabwe and I had sadza every day, that was very good to me. But now I have tasted some good food, and thinking about sadza is something else. I mean,
You never want to see it again.
I don't think if conditions permit, I wouldn't choose it. But now as I'm speaking, people who are in Zimbabwe who have sadza every day, they appreciate sadza. Americans should be appreciative of what they have. I mean, if people travel and see how other people are living, they would be more appreciative.